What is projection? Now, projection to me is a fairly simple thing. You could say that I find it simple because I'm basically doing it all the time, and that gives you already kind of a clue. Because projection, what does a projector do? What does a projector do? Answer me! What is a projection? Well, when I think about projections, somehow some kind of movie comes into my mind, but that's not really it. I'm kind of scattered. Oh my God, I didn't eat today, but I drank 2 coffee because of my new espresso stovetop mocha machine, right? These Violetti things, and now I'm like really riled up. But is that really? I kind of, right now I feel really excited because somehow I have the feeling something is on the verge of happening, right? And maybe that's just me projecting my excitement onto the things, that I would like to happen, because I would like to push through, yeah? So that is a form of projection. We can project a fantasy onto other people. Sometimes we meet people and we think, oh, this person must be my husband, or this person must be my wife, or the love of my life in general. And then we project the wish to find somebody that we can love and that will love us back equally onto another person. We project it onto another person. And the problem that arises from this is that we may wake up to the reality that the person was maybe not the love of our life, but a companion for some time. So I don't know if that makes sense. To me it makes sense because that's how it's often been. I met somebody and I thought, this is it now. And then I was so happy that I finally found somebody that I could settle down with and, found a family. And then it turned out it wasn't that. But I got better at it towards the end to unmask the people and to realize, okay, what is the truth behind this encounter? My feeling now is all the time, because I'm projecting my fear of making no sense whatsoever onto this recording now. And then I always think, should I stop? Should I do it again? Should I do it again? But what's the point in that? Because I'm saying what right now wants to come out, and I'm just saying it, right? If you don't want to hear that, then you can just read up on what projection is, right? Because you can also just think of it a little and then come up with your own answer, what projection is, right? You take the word projection. What does it mean? What does a projector do? Think back to what you know about projection. What is a project? Let's stick with projection first. Projection, a projector, a projectile, a projector, right? You have a projector in school. What did that thing do? It projected an image onto a wall. Yeah? That image was not there before you turned on projection mode, right? You have a projector that stands around, you do nothing. Yeah? And then you shine light onto the projector And the projector then, or the projector produces light, you could say, and then it sends an image to the wall and then everybody can look at it. So now let's imagine you are the center of your own life. You are the centerpiece of your life. Everything you see, you could say, is a projection of your consciousness. Because consciousness is focus, is light. So if you use your consciousness to project an image onto yourself or onto other people that is a result of your desires, right? Then you may run a bit into trouble. Because let's say you meet somebody and you think, that's the love of my life, right? It's really easy to project, relationship stuff onto this recording or onto the topic of projection, because everybody knows what I'm talking about. Because probably everybody who listens to this has some kind of love, relationship, drama, romance kind of stuff, right? You can even project drama onto a relationship because you think that's how relationships are, right? You might think that's how relationships have to be because your parents' relationship was a whole set of drama. And so you project your idea of how a relationship is supposed to be on your own relationship. And that means you constantly create drama in your own life because you think that's how life is supposed to be, right? So you have situations that you remember as being very stressful. And then you project stress onto this situation and you create stress out of you create stress out of thin air, and then you throw a tantrum. Maybe somebody came and they said something to you and you just explode because you live in this kind of world where everything is stressful and everybody's mean, right? And we often pick that up from our surroundings because other people, when we were children, other people behaved like this. And we just started to learn to adopt this behavior. And you can explain this in terms of projection. Because you project the image that you got from your surroundings onto your surroundings. Because that's the impression that other people made on you. So you could say that your surroundings made an imprint on you. Now you have an experience, and because you hold on to the experience and to the perspective you have on the world, you keep recreating that because you think that's how it is, but it isn't. That's just what you think. Or that's what you know because that's what you've experienced when you were growing up. And now it's time to make new experiences. Because let's say you keep projecting your anger at the government and you say, I hate them. Yeah, that anger will eat you up because you can hate the government all your life. But you also have to agree that in a sense, if you like drinking coffee, then it's the government that helps you to bring that about. If you're one of these coffee addicts, which apparently certain times of the year I can count myself to. My addiction is just a bit more stretched out. It's not like on a daily basis. It's like on a maybe every couple of weeks excessive basis. Kind of like that, right? So you can project your anger onto the government, but the reason you're angry is actually not the government's fault. The reason you're angry is because you're holding on to anger and because you think you have a right to be angry. And then you take that anger and you project it onto somebody because then you feel better about yourself, right? If you hate the world, you can project it onto them. You can even project people's problems onto yourself. And then you become this kind of, I'm no good and everybody hates me. No, everybody hates themselves. Everybody hates themselves, Your friends hate themselves and they hate each other, and it's all like, nobody knows who they are anymore. Because everybody is projecting. You walk around and you project your hatred onto other people and you say, I hate this guy because he's black. No, you hate him because you're afraid to talk to him because you don't know how to talk to him. And probably because you have no experience. You know, that's how it was with me. You know, you grow up in Germany, there aren't many black people here. That's just how it is. You know, I was basically, spending my childhood with white people only. And then you meet somebody who's black and somehow you think, oh, somehow they smell weird, right? So I didn't know how to talk with them. So you might get angry at them because you just don't know how to engage with them. That's what I see here in Germany, because we have a lot of people that are Muslims. And we as Germans just don't know how to interact with them because we have these cultural barriers. And then we are actually afraid because we are super uncertain. German people are incredibly uncertain. Actually, the whole world is really uncertain about their place in the universe, which of course explains the whole science thing. Because only people who are afraid and a bit confused need stuff like science. Because if we would know our place, we'd be shepherding forests, right? We'd be harvesting our own crops. But instead, we project our own mediocrity complex, which is basically a manifestation of fear, onto Earth, and we just exploit it, and we kill all animals because we're so afraid. This is projection. Projection is stupidity. Projection is, in a sense, ignorance. Because if you're running around and you always project your opinions onto everything, then you can never be open to new experiences because you already know, right? You already know how it is. I know that person is an asshole, but I want him to love me, but he's such an asshole, right? Something like this. It makes no sense. So the best thing you can do is to simply try to understand what projection is. So you could say, what is a project then? A project usually is something where people come together and they try to project a plan into reality, right? So a projectile is something, that tries to reach a goal. You can shoot a projectile with a gun, because your goal is to harm others or kill animals or, shoot, with an arrow, project it into the bullseye because you want to score a win and do really well at archery. That's a form of projection. You project something onto something else. And if you put that into action, right, you can project your anger at another person and that will then, bam, right? So your project is then fist in another person's face. And if you bring that into existence, like bam, right? And if you do that on a large scale, you kind of do boxing. So that angry men can fight each other, while other angry men that are too afraid to fight other people cheer for them. So that they can see how other people take it out on each other while they safely sit around doing nothing, right? So you can even project your wish to be a soccer player onto other humans and then you can cheer them on and say, yeah, run faster, you fuckface. But you're actually saying it to yourself. But because you're fat and lazy, you project that onto another person and you want to see that person sweat. Man, it's you who should do the sweating. You should do the sweating, not the other person. So if you project your anger onto another person, you should ask yourself, why am I so angry, right? This is usually what I try to do. If I walk through the streets and the chirping of birds makes me really angry, I realize, oh wait, the chirping of birds is not what makes me angry, but it shows me that I'm angry because apparently something's really bothering me. And what do I do then? I go within myself and I realize, holy crap, how can somebody be so angry, right? And that ends the cycle of projection. Because now I'm conscious that I'm projecting, so I can actually stop projecting. You know, if I see people driving around with electric bicycles, I just get a little bit frustrated. Because while they're just too lazy to cycle with their own energy, you know, they're okay with it, that, yeah, whatever, right? It's like, just let them play or something, right? It's like, just let them play. Maybe it's better that they're cycling with an electric bike than if they wouldn't cycle at all. At least they're outside, right? At least they're outside, right? So you can show a bit of empathy because, you know, they're really trying to do the right thing, right? They're really trying to do something for nature, or you think so. And then they buy an electric bike. You know, it's not their fault that they're gullible and believe everything they're being told. So let's not be too angry with them. Let's just try to understand, you know, that not everybody can pay attention to everything because some people are really happy to simply be alive, right? So we also must be more happy. So if we see other people driving in cars and cycling around, you know, it's their life. That means you learn to basically stay with yourself. You stay with yourself. So you don't have to project a lot of stuff. And it doesn't mean you have to be alone in your room all the time. What it means is you stay with yourself. You don't tap into other people's problems, right? You don't dig up people's emotions or tell them how they feel. Because if you tell somebody how they feel, you're probably telling them how you feel. And the reason why it irritates you, how they act, is because you feel the same way. But telling them is no real use. You have to tell this yourself. That's how I feel. Oh, wow. That's why I'm so angry at this person. Because I see myself in that person. And by being angry, I actually try to push that away from me because I don't want to admit to myself that that's how I am. You know, if you watch a movie and everything in that movie is like, fucking asshole, you know, that movie is the best teacher because you can actually realize, holy crap, why does it make me so angry? You know, I must be like these people in the movie. Because if I wouldn't be like them, you know, I'd probably laugh about them. Not laugh about them, but I would just say, holy crap, you know, that's how people are. You know, if you get angry at that, how stupid some people are, then you are basically the same. That's how projection works, right? If you project, that means it's your mirror. It's your opposite. So if there's a person that makes you really angry, it's a very good mirror for you. Because that person mirrors you a lot of your trauma, right? If you're a bit similar, it's like there's a lot of friction. But that also means if there's a lot of friction between you, you know, you could play very well together if you would overcome your trauma, right? And sometimes it's better to just work on your trauma on your own. And when you've settled that, you can get back together and say, hey, now we can play. And if you're a man and a woman, and you see yourself as really compatible partners that just got a little bit fucked up in life, you know, you can play really well together in a sexual way. And that then is probably what you would call your twin flame, right? Or your soulmate, right? Or your personal heaven. And you have to really work hard for that. Anyway, something about projection, right?